Recently, I became the first person ever who has protested in all the 50 states of the United States in order to spread awareness on an issue. And the reason why I took on this never been done before challenge is because there are high skilled workers living in all the 50 states of the United States are discriminated based on their country of birth, and all the 50 states are at disadvantage because of this kind of discrimination. And this kind of discrimination is actually illegal in the United States according to the law, but it still persists because of another law which very few Americans know about. And if you don't know, the reason why this country cap law is unfair is because when it comes to student visa, when it comes to work visa, United States doesn't have a country cap. What it means is that United States doesn't mind getting the best of the best students they need, best of the best workers, researchers they need. They don't mind even if they come from one particular country, and then they have path to keep them here. But only when it comes to the last stage, only when it comes time for them to apply for the change of status to the permanent residency, then they have this country cap. So even in the skill-based category, skill-based immigration category, they have this country cap which prioritize people based on the country of birth rather than their skills, their educations, their experience. That matters less. And because of this kind of discrimination, a lot of people like me who came here based on the merit, who came here on the student visa, work visa without knowing this kind of discrimination, now they don't have the sense of security and freedom just based on their country of birth. And now if like someone comes to the United States today, their wait time to get that permanent residency based on their country of birth is more than 100 years right now. And just based on the country of birth, even in the skill-based category, someone with less education, less skills, someone who has never been to the United States can jump the line and get ahead of all these people who has been here for so long with approved immigration petition. They kept waiting. And what it means that these people who are stuck in this backlog because of their country of birth, they don't have sense of security and stability. They cannot travel in and out of the country easily. They cannot change their job easily. Sometimes they have kids when they came to the United States. This kid came at very young age. They don't know any other country other than the United States, but they cannot stay on their parents' visa once they turn 21. So they either have to self-deport or they need to start their immigration journey in the United States from the scratch. And all this kind of discrimination is just based on their country of birth. And because of this kind of discrimination, all the 50 states are at disadvantage because employers in all these 50 states cannot solely hire based on the merit. They have to look at the country of birth. So like let's say someone needs to hire a doctor, or a doctor who is treating you today might be someone who qualified based on their country of birth rather than skills. So it's a very dangerous rule which can cost lives on top of being unfair. So recently I set this plan which help us to overcome all this limitation and probably do advocacy in a more organized way. But the detailed plan I said was over an hour long, which is linked in this video description if you want to check out the full version. So a lot of people requested that I make a summary video of the plan so people can share it with bunch of other folks easily and they can watch it without a lot of time commitments. So here is I am trying to summarize the plan. If you want to watch the full video of the plan, then it's linked in the description. So before we go into the plan, what are the limitations we are trying to overcome? So here are the things I found by traveling to all the 50 states and talking to a lot of the folks. Here are some of the reasons or limitations why this issue is not solved. Number one is lack of awareness among the students or workers who are coming to the United States. Like me, like before I came to the United States, I had no idea about this discrimination. Before people coming to the United States, they don't know that this kind of discrimination would exist in a country like America, who is the leader of the free world, who teaches like moral values to a lot of other countries. there in this country like that, they will be discriminated based on their country of birth. They find out about this discrimination much later, and sometimes people who are in the backlog, they don't understand this kind of like a complicated laws. They are not even aware, even if they are like in the backlog, that they're being discriminated. Most of the Americans don't know about this discrimination. They don't know that in United States, even the skill-based immigration, they prioritize based on the country of birth. So lack of this awareness is one of the major reason. Another reason is that lack of hope. A lot of the people, they are aware about this issue, but they don't have hope because of this kind of discrimination going on for a long time. And there are some people who are at disadvantage because this kind of discrimination has been going on for a while now, and there are some people who are at the advantage because of this kind of discrimination, and they are working in favor of that. So a lot of the people, they don't have hope that anything will happen, and then they don't take action. Another reason is lack of skills and knowledge. The reason is because a lot of the people who are at this kind of discrimination, they didn't grow up here, so they don't know how the system works. And sometimes even if they know how the system works, they are like very tactical people, they are very skilled at what they do, but this kind of other things like talking to the member of the Congress to get the change they need is not something they have learned in the school or anywhere, right? So they are like very highly technical people. So most of the people who are in the backlog, they don't have skills or knowledge to overcome this. And some of them have skills and knowledge, but then they have this fear of repercussion that if they do something, then there might be negative consequences. And most of the people who are at the disadvantage, they are on some kind of visa, and then they have this fear that if they speak up openly or they do something, then entire thing they have worked for so far, they can risk all of that, right? That can be taken away. So they have this fear, and that's why they are like not advocating or speaking up openly about it. And sometimes they don't have this fear, but then they don't have the time, because most of the people who are in this kind of discrimination, they have a very demanding job, they have a family, they have a lot of commitments to make, they have kids. So it's like very hard for them to find the time to be consistent with this issue. And very few people who are working towards solution, they are working with someone else's blueprint on how these things gets done. So they haven't analyzed what are our limitations and what are our strengths, right? And sometimes we are asking for more than people can commit or be consistent with. For example, I have met some Americans who are willing to help, but how much? They probably might be willing to call their congressman once and ask to fix this issue, but calling once doesn't help. And they are not that involved with this issue that they are willing to call consistently to their congressman or write that, right? So we are asking more than people want to commit. Or let's say that someone who just came to the United States on a student visa, work visa, they are very busy getting settled into this new country, and they are not going to call their member of the Congress to fix this issue. So making most of the people consistent has always been a challenge. And the last reason I found, one of the crazy reason, is that this issue is so big, so serious, but still there is no single person whose 9 to 5 job is to work on fixing this issue, which is crazy. So I came up with this plan which help us to overcome all these challenges. And you might be asking, Anuj, what's the plan? The plan is that we're gonna start with the last reason first. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna create an organization and hire 50 people who work full-time to bring the solution to this issue, who works to spread awareness on this issue and advocate to end this discrimination based on the country of birth. This will be a group of 50 people who are working full-time. Their 9 to 5 job will be to work on this issue, to spread awareness, educate people on this issue, and advocate for a change on this issue, right? And this discrimination. So this will be a group of 50 people, included content creators, so editors, actors, presenters, cinematographers who are creating content for all the social medias. So they are like very consistent because it's hard for us to become consistent. So they will be working on creating a content which can reach to different people. We're gonna find people where they are, and we're gonna be active on social media, all the social media, and out of sight, out of mind. So that's we're gonna stop. So we're gonna be very consistent on all the social media with all the content, and there will be a group of PR people who are working alongside this content creators to get the right message out to different people, how to reach different people. There will be advocates who are working full time, who are working alongside policymakers, and then whenever they find that issue, there is something which is hard for these people to understand or whatever it is, then they will come back and we're gonna create the content accordingly. So this will be like group of people working in sync to get the right message out there, to educate people for the rights, to educate on this kind of discrimination, to educate America on how they are at disadvantage and why this is serious, right? So they're gonna work alongside with all these people, and then there will be like a group of like lawyers and maybe like researchers, right? So the lawyers, because what we want to do, we want to make sure that we do it right, we will do it according to the law. They will be guiding us also that if there is any legislative way we can bring this change, right? So they will be guiding us that, but also there is like a lot of data we need to collect, that there are like a lot of things which are unknown or like known but not with the concrete data, that there are like a lot of research being done at this very top universities, are done by people on student visa or work visa, and sometimes they are forever on work visa because of this country of birth discrimination. So we want to bring that kind of concrete data and publish research based on this different research we do, right? We want to publish papers. So these 50 people will be working in sync. They will be working in a way that it complements each other works and moves towards a single goal to end the discrimination. And the advocates will be advocating for one very simple bill, one page or even like half a page bill. There are only two main things in that bill. Is that one is that remove country cap on the skill-based immigration, remove the country cap from the employment-based immigration, and to make the system fair from day one. The second thing is that while that bill is passed, grant one-time exception to all the people who has approved immigration petitions so far and who are in the United States with a qualified job. Grant them one-time exception and give them one-time permanent residency if they have approved immigration petition. So that is very easy to do. Even the entire backlog is kind of like million people who are already approved for this immigration petition and they have qualified jobs. So that exception is not a big deal to grant. So it's a simple bill. We're gonna advocate for it. Our goal would be to ideally pass this in the lot of the jumbo bills which needs to be passed in every Congress, right? So we're gonna be try to advocate for that, but maybe we'll try to introduce as a separate bill as well, but that will be the goal. And you might be wondering, Anuj, how we gonna pay to all these 50 people, right? And that bar is very low. We wanted to remove all the hurdles and make it very easy for people to support this cause. So the way we're gonna pay for them, that let's say that the average salary, let's say it could be higher or lower, but one person we pay $10,000 a month. Then the salary for 50 people is $500,000 a month. So how we gonna get this $500,000 a month? It's very simple. If 50,000 people supports this cause with contribution of $10 a month, then we can easily reach this goal, right? $500,000 a month. And finding that 50,000 people, I think that it's very easy because of the work we're gonna do. 50,000 is very low number. At least there are a million people who are already in this kind of backlog, who are directly impacted. That probably there are a million who are gonna be in this backlog soon, because there are a lot of people who are on like student and work visa and they would be soon in the backlog. But not only those people, there are like a lot of the people, like think about your boss, your colleagues, they want to support. There are a lot of Americans, when they become aware on this issue, they want to be part of that, and it would be very easy for them to be part of that, that they contribute $10 a month, and because of that $10 there will be 50 people working full time to end this kind of discrimination. So it's a very simple plan where everyone can become part of very easily to end this discrimination. And that doesn't mean that people who has been advocating on their own regularly, they need to stop, right? We all need to be doing more. We will still need to do our part, but even for some reason, if we become inactive for some time, which happens to everyone, still our advocacy or awareness campaign wouldn't stop, because there will be 50 people who are working full time to bring the solution. They will bring their professional skills on the things we want to do. So a lot of the times, sometimes we want to go and meet a member of the Congress, but it's hard for us to get that appointment. But because we have this professional skills, they will help us to organize those meetings. Let's say that if we want to plan an event, there is a lot of the things which goes in planning an event. I have planned a march. I can tell you that you have to get tons of like different permits. You have to work with many different organizations. Then you have to promote that event. You have to do fundraising for that event. So all that kind of like a lot of work, heavy lifting would be done by that. And for our job would be that show up to those events, or like go to those meetings, or like even if we are calling, then we would have a better script to tell our story, right? So we will bring this professional skills to our advocacy, to our awareness campaign. So that's the plan. And to put this plan in effect, to get this organization going, I am doing a fundraising event. The link of that fundraiser is in the description. You can go to the link if you are motivated, and if you want to contribute towards the Kickstarter funds towards this efforts, then you can contribute at the below link. And this is not the $10 a month thing. This is just for us to get started, to create this organization, create the website for this organization where we can organize all these things, right? So it's towards that. If you have any questions or suggestion about the plan, and if you would like to reach me, you can reach me on my Twitter or X. That link is in the description as well. I am super excited for this plan and hope you are too. Thank you for watching.